I'm Jonathan Janeway.
I'm Charlotte Ross, and
This is Sweet Acre Farm. This is the third and final location of Sweet Acre Farm. It's our second season on this property. It's 6 acres in Lebanon, Connecticut.
we started our farm in Mansfield, Connecticut, after apprenticing in Maine for a season, and we were there on a 1-acre field that we found through Connecticut Farm Link for 2 years. The whole time we were farming that land, we were kind of casually looking for a place to buy, and found this place through a neighbor friend at Beltane Farm, Paul Truby, who knew that it was available and it was for sale by owner. It was like the needle in the haystack that we'd been hoping for. I think in terms of buying versus leasing or renting, it's just great to know that the money that we're spending and the labor that we're putting in and the plants that we're planting are, can stay, are here, and will benefit us for years to come. I think what's frustrating in finding agricultural land is that agricultural use and the open land space is not what's valued, it's the buildings. And so it's difficult to find an entrance into the real estate market for farming because when you try and think about buying a property, you go online and you look on real estate websites, right? Because that's where properties for sale are. Nobody ever tells you how much is open. They'll give you the acreage, they won't tell you what's open, they don't know what the soil is like. Obviously they don't have any of that information. Farming has such a rich history, and when you buy a farm, one of the most interesting things is who farmed it before and what did they do, and it's not only interesting, but it's super valuable to your business because you want to know if the land has been abused, or maybe it's been really well cared for, or maybe there are particular crops that grow there well. And a real estate agent, I feel like, is usually in the middle to keep both parties separate, right? And so there's no space for communicating with those people who farmed it, or whose grandparents farmed it before them or something.
Last year and the year before, we were part of the Scaling Up program, and through that we had a handful of people who were more than helpful in helping us with our search and getting over some of those obstacles we were talking about how to look for land in a smart way, and not getting pushed around by the real estate market, and prioritizing what really matters. And so there's help with soils, help with business sides of things and finances, and so it's nice to have those people in our corner. In terms of new farmers, we fell in with a handful of people who had started the New Connecticut Farmers Alliance the year before, and so that was a connection to people who were having a lot of the same experiences that we were.
We also applied half of our mortgage just through the Farm Service Agency, which is a very low interest loan. And we also have an operational loan through FSA. Farm Credit East is the other half of our mortgage, and both of those institutions are very helpful in payment schemes and stuff. The bulk of your mortgage payment is in the fall when your crops have come in and you've been able to put that money away rather than monthly payments. Yeah, and that's an important point too, that these lending agencies, FSA and Farm Credit East, the difference between them and Bank of America is that they're giving you a loan based on a business plan, not based on a savings account or an asset portfolio or whatever traditional banks depend on, which is actual concrete value that you have. Our value is this business that we're going to pour ourselves into that's going to generate this money. And especially going into the first season, having bought this land, we certainly didn't have anything in our pockets to begin with. Owning this property, we don't want to burn up the soil, and we want to make sure that resource, that vital resource, is here for as long as possible, and in improving, not just here, but improving. And so with the monetary pressure, trying to do both, trying to take it slow enough and make the right decisions about the long term, but also getting things in and out and generating the money that we need right now today. So
we're still pretty scared. Last season was so trying that I think we were a little more complacent about going into this year, that nothing could be as hard as last year was, and
it's not as hard, but
but that doesn't mean it's not really much harder than what we've done before. And our goal now is just to be to be trustworthy and live up to the expectations we set for ourselves.
When we first started, we were desperate to buy a place, and we really thought that was the smart thing to do. Looking back on it now, I'm so glad that we spent those first 3-4 years looking as hard as we did and talking with as many people as we did and farming and meeting farmers through farming, and have ended up in a place that I think we wouldn't have been able to find this or be the farmers that we are without those people along the way.